And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to WrestlePurists Worldwide. I'm your host, Ebu of WrestlePurists, better known to many of you guys as Backup Hangman. And I'm joined as usual by the boss man. No Anna this week. She's out reconnecting with family back home. And we gave her that time off because we at WrestlePurists are a benevolent operation that very much believes in people spending time with their families. So Anna's on her winter break. She will be back next week. In her place, though, is myself and Monty, and we'll talk about a pretty eventful wrestling weekend. We will talk about the New Japan Strong Show that took place last night, the one that had a very, very well-received Mercedes Moné match as she faced Hazuki. And so they went at it for the Strong Women's Championship. They had a great match. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about some of the angles shot on the show, which added new matches to the Wrestle Dynasty card on January 5th in the Tokyo Dome. We will also be covering AEW Collision. A show that's been heating up lately, Monty. We'll talk about Collision. Another super, super duper solid episode last Saturday with some great wrestling. We'll cover that. We'll give you guys an update on the Continental Classic. We will also be covering WWE's return to NBC because they came back along with Jesse the Body Ventura, who was back for the first time, not in 40 years like they like to say on the show, which was a really weird lie, but the first time in a little bit. Jesse the Body Ventura was there with the WWE on NBC for Saturday Night's Main Event. Fun show, a very quick show, a show that we will get into and we'll talk about. And beyond all of that, folks, I spoke to WWE over the weekend. They reached out to me because of my complaints over the Kevin Owens situation and the angle that they shot after the show. And so we had a conversation and they explained me the internal reasoning for why that was not shown on air and was done off air. So we'll get into that. I'll give you guys, because it was all on record comments, thankfully. So they don't have an issue with me sharing this, and so I will share with you guys what they told me about why they structured it the way they did with the Kevin Owens package pile driver angle and him shoving Triple H. So we'll talk about that. We'll have some additional news and notes. We will talk about Saturday's Main Event, Collision, the New Japan show, and so much more. Again, guys, this is one of those shows where you guys can also drive the ship. Send us the super chats, ask us whatever questions you'd like, and we'll do our best to answer. And so, again, man, one of those fun worldwides where you guys can take us in whatever direction you'd like us to go. Like the video if you haven't liked the video. Subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed to the channel. And lock in, because from here on, we're going to go full steam ahead. Monty, how are you doing today, man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Good. I've been watching too much wrestling, bro. You know, including pretty much all the stuff. I've watched like 90% of the stuff that you just laid out then, and all the other stuff as well. So it's demanding, bro. Been getting them miles in. I'm doing good, man.
What you been checking out?
Bro, everything I can find. Everything I can find. The WWE network is going in, obviously in the US. I know you guys have been.
We got another year.
We got another year. Yeah, it's been Peacock life for you guys for like how many years has it been now? Like 2-3 years?
We've had
maybe
Peacock,
even longer than that.
We've had Peacock since like the spring of 2021, I believe.
Yeah, so you guys are kind of already adjusting to it. A few things are popping up on Peacock, but
yeah, it sucks.
You know, you can use a VPN if you need to. You know what I'm saying? But you're not even going to be able to do that at the end of this year. So I'm trying to get everything I can in. I'm going to be trying to download a bunch of stuff. But yeah, man, I've been trying to watch like. So I'm not worried about like ECW going anywhere, like WCW Nitro, like the Monday Night Wars, like all that sort of era stuff. That's all going to pop up eventually on Netflix or whatever, you know?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I don't know if it's going to go to Netflix, but I know that you're not going to have a hard time finding.
Yeah, it's easy to find elsewhere.
The December 7th edition, the December 7th, 2018 edition of Raw will be somewhere like on YouTube or Netflix.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
Right? But the question is what happens to AWA? What happens to World Class? What happens to the Memphis footage?
These are the questions,
as a whole. You know, where's WWF's Boston Garden House show is going to go? Things like that. You know, that's actually really concerning. And I mean, we already are in an epidemic here, Monty, of young fans lacking the curiosity to watch wrestling's past.
Oh, it's brutal.
Right? And now you're going to compound that by basically not giving them an even fucking an avenue to even do that. So you're going to have people who, like, you know, they say BC and you know, like for before Christ, this is going to be like before Bloodline, like wrestling before Bloodline, and where to find it and what wrestling fans came before that and what they remember. Documenting that historical footage is a huge important thing, and I'm really worried about like a lot of the territory stuff.
It's Scary times, bro. Scary times, you know.
Yeah.
It is a shame as well because young fans don't seem to have like a crazy interest in like digging this stuff out, you know.
Yeah, they know.
I guess because obviously with WWE being the number one and them kind of controlling the narrative, and Jesse Ventura hasn't been here in 40 years, etc. You know,
Exactly. 40 years ago, Monty was 1984. You know what Jesse was doing? He was wrestling in WWF. He wasn't even commentating. He was still wrestling in WWF. He became a full-time commentator around like roughly, I want to say 86-ish, 86, 87. And then he left the company in 1990. Took a year off, came to WCW in 92. That lasted, I want to say, a year or so. And then he became a politician. So he left pro wrestling like 30 years ago, and this guy's saying he hasn't been in WWF in 40 years. No, 40 years ago, you were an active pro wrestler.
that's just one example of like how WWE being the number one in town and being like they control the narrative. Like people who know,
Yes.
like they talk about how the documentaries are framed and how they conveniently miss out little details here and there, and you know what I mean. So, like I said, they control the narrative, and it's just a thing where, like I said, it's not. You know, they're not really putting it out there like, oh, you need to go back and watch these people. The whole thing with WWE's universe is like wrestling might as well have just started with WrestleMania 1 and Hulkamania, you know?
Wrestling was in smoky, dirty buildings, and Vince just rescued the industry and just changed the landscape by introducing the world to sports entertainment with the spectacular event known as WrestleMania, and then it just was off to the races from there. And then they sold 93,000 tickets at the Pontiac Silverdome at WrestleMania 3 when Hogan slammed Andre for the first time. Don't look it up. It was obviously the first time. It never happened before that. It obviously didn't happen in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Andre was slammed for the first time in the Pontiac Silverdome.
Andre was undefeated as well.
Andre was undefeated. Hogan did it here. This is the first time they've ever had a match. Of course, totally. Do not look that up. It was in front of 93,000 people. Don't look that up. And that was where wrestling was made.
Bro, oh man,
Vince McMahon was getting beat up by the NWO every week on in the Monday Night Wars, and he woke up one day and said, "It's time for attitude, and it's time for attitude. Austin's my guy." That's how it happened.
Mike Tyson,
and everything just totally clicked immediately, and he just started kicking their ass. You know, like that's
yeah. Again, like I said, it's just WWE. So you've got, if you are just following their narrative of things, and you don't need to go back and watch any. There's no push to go and do that. I think with the network, bro, I feel like we've all taken it for advantage.
Yeah.
It's like now I'm doing my whole like panic watch hilariously, just binge watching, trying to get in everything I can. And it's just like there's just so much on here, bro. Like there's a good amount of territory stuff, like count like different territories, AWA, Mid-South, Mid-Atlantic, WCCW, and all like little things in between. Like obviously all the Madison Square Garden shows, well not all of them, but a lot of the Madison Square Garden shows. And it's like I've gone far back, like hilariously back, bro. Like I've watched a couple Fez matches. I've watched a lot of Harley Race. I've watched Vern Gagne, Greg Gagne, a lot of Bach. Who else have I watched, bro?
You were telling me backstage you've been watching Billy Robinson.
Yeah, but a few, not a lot of Billy Robinson, but a few like late stage Billy Robinson.
Yeah.
A little bit of it, bro. MSG back.
Oh, it was a real crowd.
Like,
it was a real crowd.
Unbelievable, bro. Like, the atmosphere they could create when Bruno would walk out.
Dude, Monty, it's $5. You got a bunch of just jacked up minorities in there. You got Italians, Puerto Ricans, black people, all cooped up in MSG, ready to watch Bruno do something, or Ernie Ladd, or whoever the fuck. And it's just slightly different now. It's why like guys like Tito Santana, for example, right? Like the reason why they always tried to have WWF, that is, try to have like an ethnic babyface, is because they're a New York market, and it was like, all right, to appeal and draw in that area. Okay, we need a guy like a Tito Santana, or prior to him, you need a Bruno Sammartino and that kind of thing, And so those types of demographics and audiences, that's kind of why like certain territories leaned in certain directions. There's southern territories that they know that they're going to Atlanta. It's like, fuck, we got to call JYD up to see if he wants to take a date here and do something, or that kind of thing. bleach blondes in the mid South.
You can see, bro. I watched a little bit of Pedro Morales as well.
Yeah,
Bruno, look, he's genuinely one of the most over wrestlers I've ever seen.
yeah, he was over as fuck.
Pedro's right there as well, bro. Like, it's just crazy. Like, Pedro was just straight like physical charisma. He wasn't even that good,
Yeah. Yeah,
He was,
same with like Bruno. Bruno's appeal is he's a barrel-chested fucking Italian motherfucker who look like he beat the shit out of you for real. Like he legitimately looks like a badass. That's why his
chest is hilarious.
What's funny is like he's a barrel-chested dude. The funny thing about Bruno is like the cage match, the Escape the Cage thing was a Bruno Sammartino special, but in his day, the idea was it's a babyface stip because the idea was he beat the shit out of a dude so badly they cannot move. And once he's incapacitated with that guy by punching him to fucking death, he just walks out and is like, well, I'm done with that.
There's a literal example of this on the network. Bruno Sammartino versus George the Animal Steel from 1970, somewhere around there. Literally exactly what you said.
Yeah, and then when we go to the Hogan era and like we keep Escape the Cage, but it's in a totally different context. Now Steel Cage is a way to prolong the Hogan program. You do a house show loop with somebody. The heel is managed by Jimmy Hart or they're managed by Bobby Heenan. And now Escape the Cage is a thing where the heel gets one over on Hulk Hogan and they fucking escape out of there. And Hogan's like looking around like, what happened here, brother? What the hell? The cage rises. He drags Jimmy Hart back into the ring or something, drops the leg. The fans get sent home happy. He puts the hand to the ear. They do another fucking house show. That type of thing. It became a heel step and it became a way to prolong a match from that standpoint. And now WWE does it where fucking both baby faces and heels are trying to run out of the cage instead of beating each other up and there's no psychology and it's terrible. But yeah, man, the lost media is going to be something to keep a track of. I hope there's certain people out there, the right plugs that are keeping this footage archived somewhere. There's
trying to
certain
round the
guys
people up, brother. I'm telling you. Like, I'm going to be trying to download stuff. I've got a few people who have reached out and said they're willing to. They've got a bit of storage space as well. So we've had people, we've had friends of ours downloading even things like the Cruiserweight Classic, bro. Where's that going to end up? Do you know what I mean? Like the Cruiserweight Classic, the Mae Young Classics, both of them. We've got those locked down, but those are just very, very minor things. When we're talking about the territories, like those are large libraries, bro. Which they're not going to just pop up on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Like it's tough.
I mean, in a perfect world, they put playlists on the WWE Vault account, but we'll see. They might do that for fucking Raw. I don't know if they're gonna do that for, I don't even fucking know, Florida. You know what I mean? Or just shit like that. So. We'll see what happens, man. It's honestly scary to be completely honest. WWE has the Puerto Rico archives, Monty, and they haven't done much with it.
I don't even think they're on the network.
Bro, they have
some of it might be.
Bro, they have.
It's hard to find stuff on there as well.
That's what I'm trying to say. They have World Wrestling Council footage, dude, and they haven't done like at least in the past they would get archival footage, right? And then what they would do is they would compile it into some type of documentary and sell it, right? Like sell a DVD documentary with a bunch of matches, right? And then based off the interest of that, the WWE 24/7 service that they ran in the 2000s pre-network, they would start showing some more matches from that archive. And then from that interest, you could pivot that into some other stuff. Like Bret Hart, his Stampede Wrestling, for example. Like WWF has Stampede Wrestling, right? And WWE would on their 24/7, they would show Tatsumi Fujinami versus Dynamite Kid, for example, on their 24/7 service, things like that. But yeah, man, we'll see what happens.
So much, bro. You say about the documentaries as well. That's another thing, bro. Like all the documentaries, the rise and fall of ECW and WCW. Best in the World, CM Punk. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman. With the Life and Times of Mr. Perfect, Bruno, all these classic, great documentaries that are on the WWE network. So where are they going to end up? Yes, some of this stuff that we've talked about will end up on Netflix or the YouTube channel.
I love those 2000s docs. I grew up watching those as a kid in the 2000s ones. And the good thing is, those have the typical WWE documentary lies, but they're not as bad. Now WWE documentaries are they're not they're just not real. They're kayfabe borderline, dude. Yeah, they put it on. They're putting those on the vault, but Like now, WWE documentaries have fucking The Miz and like Peter Rosenberg just lying to you about history. Fucking Miz being like,
Peyton Rosenberg.
it's always Miz and Peter Rosenberg just fucking lying to you, and it's like
Every doc is just
every
there, you know, just
every
getting a check.
bro, it's Peter Rosenberg, The Miz, and Bruce Pritchard every time, bro. Why am I watching a fucking like if you watch those A&E shits, dude, it'll be Bruce being like, we all knew ECW was going to be big. I'm like, shut the fuck up. No, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Why is Brother
The
Love
best
talking to me
modern
about
docs.
Sabu? You
The
know what I
best
mean?
modern docs, because someone's in the chat, like, and obviously it's the point you're making, like the modern ones do. So the best ones I've seen are probably like the A&E ones that came out like a couple years ago now. There was a really good Mick Foley one, and a
Yeah.
few others. So but as far as like you said, like the Damien Priest one's good, but it's like it's a Damien Priest doc, you know. It's like
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
you
Just,
know,
all
God
right.
bless, you know, like I've
Now,
watched it, you know,
when I
but
watch these modern WWE produced documentaries, I'm not watching it for the truth or for information. I'm watching it to pop at like wrestlers just like being wrestlers. So like that's why I got a kick out of the WrestleMania one with The Rock. Like I didn't watch that thinking they were going to illuminate some information that I didn't know. I just wanted to see Rock like being The Rock, to be honest, and being
yeah,
like,
100% same. And that
it was
doc was
at that
shit,
moment
bro.
that I realized we had to pivot, and Triple H is having to try to babyface himself and being like, I knew what the fans wanted. They wanted Cody. And I'm like, you
Did
were
you see this? Sorry, Bill. Did you see the Nigel doc that's coming out on Iniba? I haven't seen it. No. If there's a new one coming out or scheduled or they're working on it, obviously, Chasing the Magic, the one that's on the network, that's a great doc. Um,
Yep.
it's the one with that heartbreaking moment when you see, you know, Nigel. He's just kind of like sadly retired in front of like 10 people, and he's back at his house and he's sat
Mm-hmm.
on the couch and he gets and Brian Danielson like wins the World Heavyweight Championship in WWE like
Oh
not
man.
after. And he
Yeah.
sends him that text like, "I wish you were here. I'm sorry that you wasn't." And you can see it in his eyes, bro. Like he's absolutely broken. Like so, doing. Oh, I actually watched that kind of recently again, and it's like that. I'm happy that they are working on a documentary if they are, because now that Nigel's had that moment of wrestling Brian, the moment at Wembley, it's a nice way to like go back, you know, and kind of
Absolutely.
cap it off properly for him. So that'd be
100%.
cool. AEW need to do more stuff like that if it is an
Yes,
AEW thing.
I wish like I was saying it for years. Like I wish AEW kind of documented the stuff that was going on and did documentaries and things. Because dude, imagine if that summer of 2021 that was just electric and they were on fire. Imagine if they documented that in some way, shape, or form. I'd be watching those shits over and over again. You know what I mean? But what we will do right now, folks. I was trying to think of a snappy way to pivot, but I'm too cooked. Look, we're gonna get in your super chats and we'll have fun and answer your questions. And with the remaining time, we'll talk about all the wrestling. But we'll go through those now. So, guys, this is now your opportunity to give us your opinions on anything, to ask us any questions you may have, and so on and so forth. So, Maj, let's start these super chats up.
Let's do it.
All right.
Just a chill guy. Meatloaf Gonzalez, 1999, skipping the queue. Appreciate you, brother. What was the exact loophole found in Andrade's AEW contract that allowed him to leave early? And do you know or have an idea on why Roosh push in AEW is stop and start? Don't know, Sal, by the way. What was Jade / Baddies beefing about exactly?
You're a piece of shit, Meatwad. Look, I
You did
don't.
break the news that Andrade was on his way out of AEW.
Yeah, I did
Remember that
last year.
very
Yeah, yeah.
mm,
I told the timeline about that he was heading to WWE. He sprung that on AEW last second. He told them at the 11th hour, "Yo, like I'm leaving. This is my last day, and I'm going to WWE." And they were just like, "What the fuck?" Um, I don't know what the loophole is. I just know that the weekend of World's End, he found one with his lawyers, and it was one of those like inescapable, you can't even like take it to court type of things that just straight up allowed him to leave. And AEW said to me that it was a clerical error in the nature of his contract that allowed him to do it. So maybe there was some type of I, maybe there was an I that they didn't dot or a T that they didn't cross that Andrade noticed with his lawyer, and they were like, "Oh, let's fucking go. There's an opening here. Run." And he's just like, "Cool, I'm gonna do that." And AEW had to just stand there and take it. So that's what happened. And they did not anticipate it happening because he started to get a really nice push at the in the Continental Classic. I believe it was a Continental Classic. He got a nice run. He had a lot of nice matches on Collision. He also was starting to do some CMLL stuff. So they thought they were going to keep him and they were going to finally really get going with a push with him. But he was like, LOL, psych, I did that to heat myself up and I'm leaving now. Goodbye.
What about Roosh?
Oh, so here's the deal with Roosh. He...
Interesting guy.
Yeah, he's a very interesting individual. And I think his approach to the wrestling business is one that will help him and continue to hurt him. And until he realizes that, he will continue to be stop-start. And he's been left to sit with that, is the best way I could say.
All right, bro.
Regarding
He left
Jade
to think
and the
about his
baddies.
actions.
Yeah, I'm dead serious. Regarding Jade and the baddies, they had a personal dispute internally that just completely split the entire group apart. It was irreconcilable differences, is the best way I could put it.
Yes. Trixie 499 Cody Kev reminded me of Punk Drew at SummerSlam, more focused on the melodrama rather than a hate-filled brawl. I think they have a better one in them. Yeah, they definitely.
Well, I know they have a better one.
They had a better match.
Like, yes,
this year.
Their match in Berlin was exponentially better. This was kind of a semi-angle sprint deal, and if when I first saw it and I thought that was just going to be it, I would have been like really, really angry, frankly. But it's now appearing to be a middle chapter to another match that will absolutely be better. So yeah, like I think they have a better match in them. They will have that better match. And I have details later on in the show as to how we're gonna reach that match. So stay tuned for that information.
Big Fat Orange Cat 499 Mercedes Monè versus Hazuki for the New Japan Strong Women's Championship at New Japan Strong Style Evolve 2024. 5 stars. Very close from us. I think we went 4.75 for
yes,
the
rest
of
of
the contributors.
Do you realize how rare and hard it is to attain that score from WrestlePurists? Like a WrestlePurist 4 3/4, that's like a Dave like 7, you know. So I'm gonna park it right here. I'm gonna park it right here, Monty.
All right.
Let's talk about this match. So Hazuki, the Stardom fans always love to crown her as one of the best big match women's wrestlers in the world, faces Mercedes Moné. Same venue, Monty, that Mercedes versus Willow Nightingale happened with the ankle injury. Same venue where I watched my first Stephanie Vaquer match when it was Vaquer versus Mercedes, and that venue earlier in that night. But she goes in here. She's main eventing this show for the Strong Women's Championship. And they have a match that goes, they put in some serious time here. And I did not watch this live. I was in a space bullshitting. But AO told me at the time, yo, this is like an incredible match. And I was like, yeah. And then like people were like, nah, this is like one of the best women's matches of the year. People were saying, yo, man, this is like one of Mercedes' best matches since leaving WWE. And I was like, really? Because, you know, respectfully, I love the New Japan brand, but the Strong shows rarely produced wrestling of that high level this year. You know, it's usually like reduced versions of like what people can pull off. You know what I mean? Like it's usually like people's 75% efforts. But I got around to watching it today. And they're having a match and the work is solid and things are fine and they're doing their stuff and Mercedes is doing her stuff and Hazuki's doing her stuff and the crowd is into it. But at some point in the match, Monty, you can notice this. There's a switch that's flipped and they go, let's drop the cute shit and let's start beating the shit out of each other. And there's a lot of passion there. And again, like to me, it's like they're doing their stuff. It's back and forth. It's pretty good. What really starts to take this match over the top for me personally was that at some point the drama just starts to ratchet up. And just because of how Mercedes is guiding this match and almost taking it up the mountain, so to speak, with Hazuki, the fans start to really just believe in Hazuki and get behind her specifically. And Mercedes is always great in big matches where the babyface just looks like a fucking courageous, valiant superhero. And that's what happened here. And like I said, the drama is rising and Mercedes's big room charisma starts to really begin to project, so to speak. And again, she's very theatrical about like being unable to put Hazuki away, right? And the comebacks are starting to really, really hit at the right times. And it continues to escalate naturally to a point where the big moments really start to pop. And Mercedes is one of the best near fall people in wrestling. And what I mean by that is, late stage finisher kickouts in pro wrestling are like a bit of a cliche at this point, but Mercedes is still able to access this tool in a way where it really does the intended effect, which is quadruple the drama and take the match to another level. And every big kick out, it was like, what? Holy shit. And the fans begin to rumble. Very similar to the reason why the Statlander match worked in Newark, New Jersey. But in this case, to an even bigger degree, in my opinion. But we get to the big fireworks at the end, some great near falls, some great counters. And ultimately, Mercedes is able to put her away with the statement maker. And she was challenged post-match by Mina Shirakawa. They will be facing at Wrestle Dynasty, Mina and Mercedes. They had a bit of a dance-off. Mina did some awkward gyrations, and Mercedes danced along with her. But I'd give that dance session a 2 3/4, but I'd give this match a considerably higher score. I thought this was on par with the Kyrie match as Mercedes' best post WWE match, and I thought this was pretty great. What did you think of this match, Monty?
I thought it was great too, of course.
Yeah.
I'd say it's Mercedes' best match this year, definitely. But yeah, just a great match, a lot of drama, really well paced, and to be honest, nothing new to add that you haven't already said, but just to kind of touch on things, it's like you kind of touched on this on Twitter, but she is just a big match wrestler, bro. Like that is the environment she should be in. And even though this wasn't in a stadium or anything, it's the main event and it's presented a certain way. And obviously it gives her, she's allowed the time to have an epic, and that's what she went out there and did. Like I said, she built it really well, she led it really well. And you brought this up as well, but look, there was a moment in the match where when it switches, something clicks in Mercedes when she starts to realize the crowd's starting to get into it, something, and she knows she's hooked them. Once Mercedes hooks a crowd, she can take her on whatever ride she wants to, And that's what she does. She builds and builds and builds and builds and builds. She does all the late kickouts and it don't feel corny because she's built to them properly. One thing that I noticed about this is like she knows when to push it further and stuff. Like I am like 95% sure, but when she hit that first money maker on Hazuki, she tells her to kick out. I think that was supposed to be the finish. So if you watch it back, you'll see it. But then it goes like another, it goes like another 90 seconds, 2 minutes or something, and she hits another money maker and she gets the win. But that's just another example of like, because the crowd was with it. The crowd was happy to go that extra 2 minutes, and it don't sound like a lot, but it is, So yeah, Mercedes Monè is amazing. This is the type of Mercedes that we all want to see. The type of Mercedes that we have seen in the last 2 matches. So yeah, good shit. Hazuki, of course, you got to give her flowers as well. She's apparently having a great year. I obviously haven't seen a lot of it. I'll never pretend that I have, but from what I do see of Hazuki, I know like once a month, once every couple of months, it's like she looks good, man. Hopefully she does get like like a big title win in 2025 or something. Hopefully.
She feels like a real spitfire. She has this almost innate likability. I like Hazuki as well. So that match is awesome. And the big highlight of the New Japan show, another elsewhere on the show, so we'll just do it now. The Young Bucks attacked Hiromu Takahashi. Monty came in, double super kick, did the EVP trigger. My boy Walker Stewart correctly identified them by their God-given names of Nicholas and Matthew Jackson. And it was honestly nice to see the Bucks again. I was like, man, look at the Young Bucks. And they came up like stars in the setting. The crowd was going nuts for them. And there was like some mixed reactions, some cheers, some boos. But it looks, Monty, like they're going to be taking on Los Ingobernables de Japón at Wrestle Dynasty. Originally, they were going to face Henare and Great Khan, which I was very underwhelmed by that matchup. And then Henare got injured. They looked like they were going to maybe replace him with somebody to face the Bucks. But I think we're getting this matchup instead, which I'm super in favor for. Hiromu Takahashi is awesome. Naito is a big match wrestler, and I do think in this setting he will not power walk. So this should be fun. I'm more locked in on this than I was the previous matchup that was booked. And elsewhere on the Wrestle Dynasty card, they added a Lucha Gauntlet. It's going to be 4 members of the CMLL roster and 4 members of the New Japan roster. None of these names have been announced, but I think it's safe to assume like somebody like a Titan will be at there. Atlantis Jr. has been a regular in the Fantastica Mania shows the last 2 years, so I could see him being one of these people. I'd imagine CMLO would like to platform Mascara Dorada on this show because he's a rising young star, the successor to Mystico, clearly, and he's somebody that, look, it's the Tokyo Dome. This is going to be the biggest crowd that they will perform in front of all year. So I would imagine he'd be like the third person, and then the fourth guy is probably going to be Mystico, who no jobs the entire way through and probably clears the entire gauntlet. So those are my predictions. Maybe one of those guys gets swapped off for a Templario or a Volador Jr. I could easily see that as well.
I could see, yeah.
Yeah, and then as for the 4 New Japan guys, total crapshoot because a lot of the key guys are already booked in matches. So we'll see what that ends up being. But that's a matchup that does absolutely heighten my interest for the Wrestle Dynasty show.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
How old's Mascara Dorada now?
He's in his early 20s. Like I want to say he's 24.
He's still a baby, isn't he?
He's a baby. He's a total baby.
And yeah, man, the young bucks. They're it's funny, isn't it? Because if that match was in any other setting, like I'd probably be a lot more worried about them just kind of like chilling all the way.
Yeah, but you know what I noticed, Monty? Because I love the Fantastica Mania shows. When the luchadors, when the CMLL dudes come to like Korakuen, for example, Monty, they're fucking godly. I remember Hechicero earlier this year, faced Atlantis Jr. in like the most underrated lucha match of the year, like a 4-star match in Korakuen, just beast as fuck. It was like 10 minutes in Korakuen. And I think it's because, first of all, like New Japan are CMLL's business partners, like historically for years, and I think they know that the Japanese public respects Lucha Libre, so they put their working shoes on when you go to Japan, and this is the fucking Tokyo Dome, so I think they're gonna send their best. That was not a Trump reference, but I do think they're gonna send their best, and their best are gonna show out and do their thing and represent the CMLL brand the way that they should in style.
Yeah, man. All right, so you want to move on with the super chats, yeah?
Yeah, let's go through them.
All right. David Camp 199, Collision 5-star, respect his name, the Proto Star.
Monty, this guy's going crazy. this dude,
bro, he's one of the most on-form wrestlers in the world at the moment, to be honest.
It's kind of scary, like what's going on right now. Like,
he's a new man, bro. Like this is
he's a monster, right?
Like, he was good before,
Mind you, remember when he looked like fake Keno like 3 months ago, right before he changed his look, where he had like the blonde bowl cut and the red big gear, like that.
He's had a few weird looks, bro, in the past couple of years.
Right. My point is, when he was in his Keno era, right, I was thinking he was finally coming into his own and becoming like a real nice singles wrestler, and then now since his like I'm not Will Ospreay arc, he's gotten even better. Like and you got to think about this. When young wrestlers try to transition, right, it's a big risk to say, I'm going to cut out a lot of these really explosive and sparkling parts of my game that like really help my matches and improve. Example, Jack Perry is like, it's time to evolve past Jungle Boy. I'm going to get rid of all the like lucha stuff and the Valiant babyface stuff and the dynamic stuff. And it's greatly reduced the quality of his matches. It's not an easy transition to make. It's a risk that sometimes you have to take to advance, but a lot of times you're worse off. And you're seeing Kyle, he said, I'm not Will Ospreay anymore. I'm going to trim away a lot of that stuff that made us come off similar. And it's like, that's a big gamble. And he's turned into like twice the wrestler, and he was already very good. So his output has been crazy. And the match he had on Saturday with Mark Briscoe, Monty, I was live on the space going through Cage Match to try to figure out when was the last time I saw a singles match on AEW television, a singles match on AEW TV that was as good as that. Because I was like, yo, this match is sensational. I went 4.25 stars on it. I put that out publicly. And I was like, man, what was the last AEW singles match as good as that? And some people were saying to me like, oh, maybe Max and Ospreay, but I didn't even like that match that much, that 1 hour fucking match. So it was tough. People were throwing out matches that like they like that were like if we're shooting it like 3.5, 3.75, you know what I mean? But like they're like, oh, what about Claudio and Swerve? I'm like, get the fuck out of my face, you know what I mean? But like I landed on Danielson and Hangman's Owen final, which is a weirdly like forgotten match now. Like nobody fucking talks about it. But that was an excellent match. Not as good as like, their early work from 2021, but that was excellent. This was the best match since then. And Kyle Fletcher has been the MVP of the tournament. And obviously, this will not be this, like, this will change probably in about a week or two. But he is outpacing Will Ospreay right now when it comes to output in this tournament. So it's happening in kayfabe and as a reality. That won't last because it's Will Ospreay. You know what I mean? It's like LeBron James. If LeBron James goes 3 games without like having a triple double, like just keep track, that's going to change soon. Like prime LeBron, you know. But yeah, Kyle Fletcher's been the MVP of this tournament.
Yeah, I'd agree. Definitely making the biggest impression. The win over Okada, just like the way that we're really getting to see his evolution. You know, he's killing it, man. Even in that last Mark Briscoe on Saturday, it was, like you said, a phenomenal match. And yeah, one of AEW's best of the year, to be honest, as far as TV matches go.
Monty, so some news, some interesting, some delicious. So part 1, I actually got tipped off about this earlier, and I wish I reported it, but I didn't. I got told this, and then now it's official via PW Insider. Kushida is leaving TNA, so that's interesting. Another departure for TNA. Trent Seven's leaving. Kushida is leaving. The wife, is it Jade Chung? I want to say the wife of Josh Alexander. Alexander himself, he is leaving. Mike Bailey already departed. Jordan Grace will be leaving in a couple weeks. So mass exodus in the promotion that seems to be building around Tessa Blanchard. I'm not saying these are correlated. I just wanted to be dramatic with how I phrased that. But that's the news. Other news, Monty. Raw will remain a 3-match show tonight because they decided instead of packing 4 to 5 matches and none of them getting proper time, which we'll talk about a show like that was 2 hours in a bit. They're doing 3 matches on this show with 2 of them getting extensive time. Braun Breaker versus Ludwig Kaiser and the tag title match between War Machine and the Judgment Day are both going 20 minutes tonight, Monty. So tonight's show,
don't need to drop them belts, bro. The Raw tag division this year has been disgusting. Like, what are we doing?
Crazy because last year it felt like the top belt on Raw for a period. But
bro, I was looking at like who have held the tag belts in WWE this year, and you look at the Raw tag belts, bro, and it's like,
yeah, it sucks.
What?
Dude, and Monty, compare that to when Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn had those belts, main evented multiple pay-per-views with it, main evented every TV that they defended those titles, and were rocking the house with legitimately, I'm not talking good, I'm not talking like all right 2 segments. They were having 3-segment bangers every fucking week against whether it be Gunther and Kaiser, whether it be Dom and Priest or Balor and Priest, tearing the fucking house down every week. Those belts felt like the main event titles of Monday Night Raw, you know, and now they're like nothing. And like the Awesome Truth was a fucking waste of time. And Balor and JD have done nothing with these belts. They're main eventing tonight. Balor and JD against the former Hanson and Rowe, now known as Ivar and Eric. 3-segment, roughly 20-minute main event. Braun Breaker Kaiser going 20 in the opener. CM Punk will open this show. So this is the most I've looked forward to a Raw in a minute because it's hard to get into these 2-hour WWE shows, Monty, because they format in a way where like very little can be more than like decent. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
a lot of the matches, a lot of those fucking 2-segment 8-minute matches that you see 4 minutes of like live airtime, like it's like, what am I supposed to get out of this? You know what I'm saying? I see the opening sequence, I see the dive, I see the closing stretch, and I'm like, all right, that was okay. You know what I'm saying? It's like, all right, that was all right.
I think.
What do you want to fucking? Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like me grabbing a burger and telling you take 2 bites, and I'm like, okay, and it's like, all right, that was it. It's like, all right, like what the fuck? But 3-segment matches on WWE TV I can get into, so I'm looking forward.
Squashes or natural match, you know. It's like,
I expect Braun Breaker.
This in between shit that has poisoned wrestling over the past few years.
Yeah, I'm
Cut
good
it
on
out.
Like, here's the thing: 6-minute matches are delicious if there's no commercials. A 6-minute match with a fucking WWE commercial like sandwiched in between, go fuck yourself. What am I supposed to do with that? You know. So that's kind of my deal on that one. Hold on a minute. What the fuck am I looking at here? Do.
I'm gonna keep going through the super.
Yeah, keep going. I'm catching.
Donor $4.99. Appreciate your Beast Mortals lost to Okada. Booking malpractice. Shake my head on boycotting AEW till 2025. Hashtag 2025 is that year. Hashtag Raw. Hey man, good luck, brother. Good luck. Ish $4.99. You think there is going to be some eyebrow raising boss calls regarding the Cody and Kevin Owens feud? Do you want to put a pin in that for later?
Behind the scenes or on air? Because
I
I
don't
would
know.
tell you that behind the scenes, no, but expect a boss call or two on air.
Literally.
This WWF double taping looks pretty good. Like, whoever's in this Boston audience, they got a good show tonight. They got a good show tonight.
Alex Diaz, 1990, $1.99. Rich Holland to main roster as the New Day's manager. Heat.
Oh, fuck off, dude. Like,
He would get a lot of heat. I don't know why he would be the manager. Like, if you're gonna call him up, you're gonna have to call him up and like try.
here's the
Again.
thing.
When
You
I think
could,
of things that could actually make people give a fuck about him, that is probably one of the things that you could do. But do I want to see that? Not really, to be brutally honest.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you'd do with him. So, you know, who knows, bro? Who knows? He would get a lot of heat though. It would, like, he just would. You know, regardless of if you think he's a good wrestler or not, like, that would get insane heat. Because to getting insane heat as it is, then you throw that on top of it, it's just disgusting. Patrick the Heel, $4.99. Appreciate you, brother. Thoughts on Shotzi's big NXT return, bro? I'm not even like capping just to like play it up for you. It actually kind of popped me.
I'm glad she's not on any show that I consistently consume. I thought that. I mean, look, she ran out there and she missed every single move that she attempted on the Fatal Influence girls. Like that literally happened. That's what just missed every move.
You know what it is? NXT has such a soft spot for her though, bro. Like, they just all love her, you know. They loved her when she was there. They love her when she pops up for Halloween Havoc, and she loves it when she makes a big return.
It's a fitting spot for her. She can just be there, you know, teach these girls about the business. And good for her. I'm glad she doesn't have that really off-putting hairstyle anymore. I will say the way Shotzi communicates and cuts promos sounds diabolical with NXT's setting and format. That sounds like a really dangerous concoction that I will not be there for. But good for Shotzi for being back.
I'll keep you updated.
I will not be selling for those messages.
I will not be clicking on those links.
I will not be clicking on those links, no. MBD said Eva wants to see less women. Hey, all I know, man, is Raw last week had 3 women's matches, and it was Cage Match 4 as a show, and it was the worst.
All right, bro. Anyway, TO $2. EO pin clean by Liv is proof that God's not real. Listen, they had a good little match, man. So
good little match.
What I'd rather them do that than have like Raquel come out do some bullshit, and do you know what I mean? So, and I'm not worried about EO losing clean. Like, it's fucking EO Sky, bro. She's gonna be fine. Trixie $1.99. My opinion, EO was a triggering visual. Again, bro, it's the world champ, man. You just gotta like take it on the chin.
Like I said,
me and Ibu had the conversation last week, bro. Like, I wanted EO to win this week. No, this weekend, but did she? No, but am I worried about EO losing to the world champion on a special event? No.
I did not want EO to win this weekend. I wanted the short-term pain for long-term gain.
You got the perfect thing out of it because you also got a good match out of it. You didn't get like some bullshit finish.
Well, yeah, it was one of those situations where
bullshit, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Like a lot of the live matches, even if the work is decent prior to the finish, you get these really clumsy finishes. You know, I'll quickly break this down. I explained this on the space. I was in a space last night with a bunch of stands. Monty, it was kind of popped me, and I was breaking down that, like, the thing about the Judgment Day in 2023 that's like the most underrated thing about them, Monty, was they would have these really complex finishes. And what I mean by that is you'd get these complicated sequences with Zayn and Owens against the Judgment Day members. But in between a lot of these moves, now is when JD pulls a ref out. Now is when Dominic slips in.
Real heat finishes.
No, but beyond that, like, it's like it would be complicated physically in the sense, like, at this specific moment, JD pulls a guy out. Then Dom comes out for this. Then this guy runs out to attack that guy. Then Priest will do a South of Heaven. But then Sammy will break up the pin. Then Balor does the Sling Blade. It was very, very complicated, right? But all those people are pros, Monty. And so they would execute it very perfectly. And you get this really tight, well-executed finishing stretch on a TV show, right? Compare that now. They try to do those types of finishes with Raquel and Carlito, the 2 most clumsy people on the entire roster. So I'll tell you, I told the story last night, Monty. This has happened on multiple occasions, right? Carlito and or Raquel will be standing in Gorilla, right? Watching the monitor as the match is in progress, right? And they'll literally just be watching it. And like Regal or someone have to be like, go! It's like you were supposed to run out like 3 seconds ago. And that immediately fucks up the finish, and you get these really clumsy, awful finishes. So there you go. There you go.
Adam Legend, $2. This is my favorite WrestlePurist starting soon. That's from RBC earlier. Appreciate the love. Ish $4.99. How was the late night space with the stands and Corey low?
Oh yeah, that's what I was talking about. It was chill. It was chill. I was explaining the Kaito Kiyomiya Okada feud to WWE stands, and this is the proof that like the world can heal and there's faith in the universe, Monty, because they didn't dismiss it. They weren't being like annoying, stupid trolls. They were just kind of like they just embraced it and were like, "Oh, that's interesting," Because the way you got to do it like this. When you give a baby or a kid, and it's not to demean those individuals by calling them kids, but
that's 100% what you're doing.
No, I'm not. But when you want to give a kid vegetables, you got to like put some shit around it that distracts them from the fact that there's broccoli in the middle. So what I did was, I didn't just go, "Hey guys, let me tell you about Pro Wrestling Noah." What I did was, I essentially told them that Stratton and Charlotte are going to wrestle at some point, and when they do, Charlotte is gonna do what Okada did to Kaito Kiyomiya, and they were like, "Huh, what does that mean? Who's Kaito Kiyomiya? Tell us about it." And I'm like, "Well," and then I went on to explain what happened. Gather around, everybody. Let me tell you what Okada did to Kaito Kiyomiya. And they were like, "Oh, that's crazy. That's sick." Da, da, da. And even the Stratton stands in the space, like they could have jumped to being mad about it, but I explained to them the point of the story is that there's an incumbent living legend that gave the other wrestler the hard dose of reality that there's a certain godly tier that you have not ascended to yet. And you have to get to that point someday to fucking touch me. And it kind of got them excited to invest in Tiffany Stratton, taking it to another level. And that's pro wrestling, So it was a fun learning tree moment.
Patrick the Heel, $1.99. Appreciate you again, brother. AEW/ROH looking to sign Matt Cardona. What do you know, Bill? Anything?
What I know is that there's people within AEW that think Matt Cardona is awesome, and they really respect him for the way he's able to keep himself relevant while being unsigned. And some of those people say, like, man, his self-promotion is so strong that if we just fucking let him be with us on some type of deal and working Rampage or working programs with guys like that wouldn't hurt us at all. And then there's people who are just like, it's just an unnecessary extra body that we would be pressured to use to some level. And there's people in AEW who think like Matt Cardona's a really prideful guy, and if we don't use him every week and to some capacity, it's going to be an issue, and that's just extra stress that's unnecessary. So to answer you, that's the general conversation about Cardona that's existed for 2 years internally within AEW. He may have a loose agreement verbally to something right now, but I don't know if that's the case. I know that what I just outlined to you guys is the conversation that surrounds him.
Darren Walker, £5. Any views on the GCW ROH feud? When Starks beats Athena, I hope Megan Bain takes out Starks and sets up a title match at GCW. Hammerstein Show.
I don't have much opinions on GCW and ROH. I'd rather not see that, to be completely honest with you. I will not be at Hammerstein for the ROH Final Battle show because it looks bad. And that's kind of all I had to say about that.
So is Ricky Starks getting put back on that show?
I have no fucking clue.
Because, like, obviously, it goes without saying that, like, obviously, that's, like, complete bullshit if he's not,
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, you can't be like, oh, well, the member of a GCW roster said this about us, so we don't want to send our talent there. And then because Jericho wants to do an angle with them, or however it came about, you decide to do an angle with that person, but you still got the people pulled from the shows. That's obviously like bullshit. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever, But like, so hopefully Ricky gets those bookings again if he wants to do them, But outside of that, it's just it's not really something I particularly care about. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the whole like FE, AEW, ROH, Jericho, Cardona thing. I don't really care about any of it, to be brutally honest.
Yeah, I don't either.
I know that's not exactly good for content, but You know, these are the games we play, people. I'm not forcing it anymore.
Don't care.
Just a chill guy again. 4.99. What happened to WrestlePurists' women's show? Hashtag noticing. Hashtag women's rights gone. Question mark, bro.
If you're
you talk to the ladies and get them on. You get the schedules where it works for them. I'm trying. I've been trying up until recently, like trying to get this person's scheduled to line up with this person. This person's line up with this person, so we can do that again. I want to do that. I've always wanted to have an all women show on WrestlePurists. Hence why I've tried to do it like fucking 3 or 4 times with different lineups and shit, you know. But I'm trying. Just chill, guy. I'm trying. Hopefully, in 2025, when we've got our new live stream schedule, spoiler, that's coming soon. Hopefully, there will be something like that on
the
it.
WrestlePurists Netflix premiere with all of us standing in front of a colorful backdrop, making poses in slow motion. You know, that LA Knight one, bro.
Bro, all of them.
They're all funny. Fuck yeah.
There isn't one that isn't slightly funny, you know. So, the LA Knight 100% is like, but that is because it's LA Knight, fam. Like LA Knight is just fucking funny, bro. He's a beast.
I need a Triple H one where it's just him standing in different angles, you know, just like fixing his coat and shit, you know.
Alex Diaz 1991 99. Need Triple H and Regal to scoop up Hazuki now. Lol. Oh, people are going to be happy about that.
Why would you want that? Why would you wish that on Hazuki?
Listen, if that's the promotion that you watch and you've seen Hazuki and you think she's awesome, then you want her in the promotion that you watch, and that's the only rationale I can think of. But
we need to stop this, man. Just watch.
Yeah, exactly.
If a wrestler piques your interest, man, like just check them out where they are, bro.
Follow wrestlers, not companies. You know.
Yeah, man.
That's the way, bro. Just a chill guy again. Ibu Tate. Hashtag we want Israel. Hashtag hold the Rollins opinion.
She may have to emerge one of these days to what's it called to fight me on. The thing is, I don't hate Seth. We don't have. This is not an anti-Seth podcast. It's not a pro Seth podcast. But you know, we're Seth moderates.
What woke nonsense? What happened to the game? I love, you know.
I saw
I remember the beautiful days of 2022 of me, Ibu, Joe, just sitting around, just not respecting Seth Rollins at all, you know. No, I'll never forget that day. I think it was earlier this year. That's when I knew Worldwide was going to change, you know.
Yeah.
So I know Joe had one foot out the door.
Hell yeah.
And he turned around and said, "You know what? Seth ain't that bad anymore." So wait a minute.
Fuck yeah.
But yeah, just $6.199. Free Palestine.
Absolutely.
Agreed. NSSL and $5. Appreciate you. America is a failed state. Wrestling is meh right now. I thought I'd have WrestlePurists, but Anna isn't here. Damn. I guess the only good thing is I'm not a student anymore. Well, I hope you graduated, that means, and congratulations if so. And
absolutely.
I'm sorry about the state of America and how you feel about wrestling, bro. You know,
it's pretty bad, and like the kids aren't learning, and a lot could be said about the state of the United States of America.
We're losing recipes.
Yes.
And PN $2. That Code Diddy Rhodes Wrestler of the Year run, huh? Hashtag whose house?
Look,
well, here's the thing, bro.
Actually, you know? we're not debating this. Look,
no, it's just like Cody's Wrestler of the Year run doesn't die on having a very, very bang okay match with Kevin Owens on Saturday Night Live, you know. But I know you're doing a bit, bro. So it's I know you truly do think it's 12 as well, which is also I don't think that's a bad show at all.
Yes, we've had a phenomenal year.
Iggy, $5, appreciate it. Can AEW just send Mercedes to Stardom / Japan for 2025? It's not like they care about women's division anyway.
I will say the formula of Mercedes in a non-WWE / AEW setting versus a Joshi wrestler does always move me. It just pops me. It just feels like she's a journeyman that just travels to different locations to just display her greatness. I love it every time.
Well, even in WWE, when she was given like a main event or a super special featured match or something, like on the first ever Hell in a Cell or something, which I'm sure
yes,
you know, and like she showed up the Bianca match at Mania. Do you know what I mean? So
she's just one of the greatest.
Bro, I think it's what's his name, bro? Danny or something. He's like in our our
Yeah,
vicinity
I
on Twitter. He's the big Mercedes guy, And
know.
he tweeted something like last week, and he was like, Mercedes Monè hasn't main evented Dynamite. Like,
It's pretty surprising.
what? Like, what the fuck, bro? Except for she was the women main evented Dynamite on the show that she debuted, and she was watching it or whatever the fuck. But she hasn't, unless this is wrong, but I do kind of trust him because he knows his Mercedes stuff, But yeah, Mercedes hasn't main evented a Dynamite. That's nuts to me, bro. So yeah, we need to change that, people. We need to change that. But again, to just your point, bringing that up, she needs to be in those main events, bro. Like, even if it is in AEW, WWE, or whatever, like, she's just a fucking main event wrestler. Give her the big epics. Let her cook, bro. Stop all this other shit that you've got to do in. Akiva, $2. Cody got you deserve it. Chance # Kevin is right. Yeah, I think they've done in recent weeks, like the past couple of weeks. I think they've done quite a poor job of babyfacing Cody in this feud, but we'll get
Cody
to
did a good job of doing it himself in their head-to-head promo, but now Kevin's gripes are too just agreeable and fair. You have to Kevin has to still be like a dickhead to some degree. It can't just be he's literally just being screwed and then just gets fucked.
Yeah, he's been screwed and he gets fired, and then when you listen to the way that he articulates his point, he's kind of right, and then it's like, it's fucking Kevin Owens, bro. He's one of the most likable wrestlers on the planet, and when he's just cutting promos and he's right, and then he's doing fucking interviews in his call with Michael Cole, and he's being all funny and shit, it's like, how can you can't boo him because. Well, the pile driver angle with Randy, which is what you would boo him for, that happened in wrestling terms. That happened ages ago now, So it's like, why would anybody boo Kevin Owens like at Saturday night main event? It's I don't know. I don't think they've done a good job in that sense. So
yeah.
We'll see where it goes.
Because Raw started taping 20 minutes ago. Because they're doing the double taping, and as a little bit of a preview, the alleged word on the street is that CM Punk is going ballistic right now.
I need that.
Delicious.
Vernacular $4.99.
You know what? I'll give you guys a little bit of a scoop. Remember that really well acclaimed angle that happened a few weeks ago, where it was Punk, Seth, and Sammy?
Yeah, there's only like 2-3 weeks ago, wasn't it?
So, really well-liked segment. Punk didn't think he was anything special in the segment, and he was kind of annoyed about it. And by kind of, I mean like it ruined his night, and he was like really mad. And his mentality was like, I need to go fucking crazy in my next promo. Fuck everybody. I'm fucking CM Punk. Fuck out of here. I'm not a background character to set up some fucking Raw main event. Go fuck yourself.
Listen, that's what makes the special wrestler special, bro. They come out of it. They come out of a segment that was well acclaimed,
Yeah, and they're like, I didn't look strong, brother. I don't know, brother. Set up another match between two other fucking guys, bro. Like, what's going on here?
Man. He bops, man, a lot. Oh shit, I didn't even read that one out. Vernacular $4.99. Stayed off my phone for Saturday night's main event to not get spoiled like a mark, only to watch the most standard Triple H PLE Twitter angle. Dumb. Shout out Chelsea Green now. Yeah, man.
Stayed on my phone. Watch the most standard Triple H Twitter angle. Dumb something. I hear you, vernacular. Thank you.
Graham 999. Thoughts on EO replacing Kyrie in the IC tournament, assuming it's from injury, but the Mania agenda is folding. Enjoy your holidays, guys. Does sound like an injury. Didn't know that was the case.
Yeah. I need EO fans to just calm the fuck down. All right? Please. Like I said this before, it's always Kale who leads the crash out too. People love reading spoilers, right? number one, or reading fucking rundowns of spoilers and going, I'm flinching. Oh, it's over. Calm the fuck down. Rhea Ripley is facing Io Sky. Why do you think they closed an episode of Monday Night Raw the week before with the visual of Io Sky and Rhea Ripley holding the world title? They didn't do that to then pivot to then like just never go back to that. The match is happening at Mania. Relax.
Andrew and PN, $2. Mercedes versus Mia in the Dome. Hashtag live show charisma. A lot of it, bro. A lot of it. SMG, $5. It took me a bit, but I've finally gone all in on the proto-star Cole Fletcher. Do we have faith that AEW stays consistent with his push in 2025?
I actually do, because it's been very committed so far. And I think they understand, like, you cannot half-step with a guy that has pinned Will Ospreay and Okada. You can't fucking pussyfoot around.
I agree.
You know what I mean? And I think they understand that. So
I think
they
understand that exactly like what you just said, but also it's like there's some slight, obviously not exactly the same, but there is some slight parallels with the Swerve and Hangman thing with the Fletcher Ospreay stuff. So if they do follow that playbook, obviously you don't book the identical fucking storyline, and obviously they haven't so far. But in terms of like elevating a guy from A to B, you know, and obviously Swerve started a little bit ahead of where Fletcher's starting out at, so we'll see where it all plays out. I think there's a very good chance that he wins this Continental Classic. I do think the final will probably be like Ospreay and Fletcher, and I actually do. I think the move there would be to put Fletcher over again. So we'll see. But I do think there's a good chance that Will would just win that. So like I said, we'll see. Kyle of Kyle, 20 pesos, NXT Super Chat or whatever. Yeah, man. Roxanne versus Julia, brother. You know, we're gonna sell out the Superdome. One and only $4.99. There is no obvious Royal Rumble winner this year to me, but who do you guys got to win it? Well, the Rumble's in February this year, isn't it? Isn't it like the 1st of Feb or some shit?
Yeah.
I think so. It's like we still got a little bit of time to really like build like who the obvious.
My picks are right now, Monty.
Go on.
John Cena and Charlotte Flair.
No, I love me some Charlotte Flair. I miss her, man. I miss Charlotte Flair bad. I miss Becky as well a lot. So shout out to Becky. She's in that Star Trek series thing. Did you see Tony D'Angelo got a role in some shit as well?
Yeah, I hope it works out for him because I don't think he has much of a future in pro wrestling. So
come on, man!
I'm not even kidding. Like I think he's beginning to plateau what he's doing.
Let me pop, bro. What the fuck?
I'm saying I hope he makes it as an actor. I think
you could have just said that, you know.
I hope Tony he has a career as a mobster on TV shows for the next 10 years. You know,
yeah, man, he's a beast, bro. Listen, all they gotta do is find the right gimmick for him. You know,
yeah. Look, finish this NXT run out, and again, the painful way this proceeds is he gets called up and doesn't work and he's fired. Do you want to witness that slow death, Monty, or would you rather he just do so great in these shows that he tells WWE, "Hey, thank you for the opportunity. I had a great time in WWE. It's time to find my path as an actor." You know what I mean? Like, go out with dignity. You know what I mean? Head held up high. He became an actor.
It'd also be nice that if he found a gimmick that could potentially work on the main roster. You know, that's what bookers are for, brother. You know?
Yeah, I mean,
my thing is with Tony, it's not like he's a blowaway in ring or anything. He's all right. You know, he's got a pretty decent look. He's got good charisma. And obviously he can talk, but obviously all of his talking is so gimmicked up, you know, because of his character, his gimmick. But he does it so well, you know what I mean? So if he can commit so well to this character, who knows what he could do with something else that's a bit more, well, a lot more grounded, because obviously that's what it would need to be for main roster. So I don't know. We'll see. I think those two options that you just spoke about are also quite likely. So it's a weird one to only do because, like I said, I do think he's talented. It's just it's a hard one. someone has to really like think of a good idea for him, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, he goes up and he's just. But if you just strip the gimmick completely, he's just like fucking Madcap Moss or some shit, you know.
I'm giving you the heads up now. I don't have anything against this guy. I think he's had a couple really cool NXT matches. The Jailhouse match with Dijak, the last Pete Dunne match, the
Yeah, he's
fuck.
had a couple of right matches, man.
He has no future in WWE.
It's a tough one.
I'm like
It is a tough one.
I'm like bluntly with no like joy. I'm just telling you like that's just what like
Yeah, bro, I'm well aware that is the
right.
likely scenario, fam. Like, you
Yes,
ain't
yes.
gotta tell me. It's just
He's riding out this lightning bolt until it fizzles, and we'll see when that happens. I hope he makes it in acting.
yeah. I do kind of hope though, even with being realistic, I hope he does get like a main roster contract for a little bit, you know. Because he's put the years in at this point, and worse wrestlers have gotten those main roster contracts. So, you know, Pablo 92 2500 CLP, whatever that is, appreciate it all. Cena versus Gunfat or Rollins versus Punk in the main event of night 1, and what about Liv and Raquel versus Becky and Charlotte for the tag titles?
It's not happening.
Cena versus Gunfat or Rollins versus Punk.
Either or is fine with me. It depends on which one has a hotter build. Frankly, like again, that depends on what match feels hotter going in that night. To be honest, because
I think it depends on what the finish is to Cena versus Gunther. Because if Cena's winning that title, bro, you have to. I think that's you close. You know, one with that, bro. You know.
Mm-hmm. No, I hear that. I hear that. Yeah. To me, it's also like the how the build comes off because Rhea Ripley and Charlotte was gonna main event night 1 of Mania in 39, but the build was so ass that like the match wasn't super hot going in, and Hunter went to the tag match. So the same thing will happen here. Yeah.
Rollins Punk as a main event. I mean, they can.
It again depends on how good the build is, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, of course. Final boss 199. TKO Dewey stripping Cody now would be so beast. Hey man, the final boss has a plan.
I'm gonna tell you guys this.
Go on.
The final boss is all about ensuring the fans have a great, exciting show with a champion that can be active and involved in wrestling. And if your world champion has a cervical contusion and all kinds of injuries to his spinal cord, he cannot deliver those things to you. And the final boss will be aware of this and do what he needs to do to ensure Monday Night Raw and the WWE are serviced the way they need to be.
And Jean-Pierre, $5. The proto star called Fletcher getting more heat than the world champion. Hashtag noticing. Hashtag we done with Dean Ambrose. Also, what can be expected from the 4-way?
Moves and John Moxley winning. You know what? I think the post-match angle there is the return of Adam Copeland, and I'll leave that at that.
That would be like a nice angle to close the show, but like the match itself is just like,
yeah, I don't care. I already don't like 4-ways for the world title, and the build has not made me like excited for it. So I don't give a shit. And Kyle Fletcher has been a better heel than John. TV. Black Yakuza $5. My timeline was arguing about Collision and Saturday Night's main event, and I was in New Jersey watching the Sonic Symphony and vibing. Mercedes versus Hazuki was an unexpected banger. Let's do this here, Monty, because we can get these out the way, and then we can just close out with super chats. We'll do Saturday Night's main event first. I thought this was a fun, easy watch with very brisk professional wrestling. It flew by. Visually, it was a delight with the red, white, and blue ropes and the nostalgia stuff and the stage and the guardrails and the fans packed in really close on the entranceway. So visually, I loved the look of the show. I thought it was an easy watch. Because of the formatting of the show and the commercials and the fact that they packed 5 matches into 2 hours, literally none of the matches could be anything more than like, that was nice. Like, it was a bunch of matches where I'm like, that was nice, or I like that one, or that was pretty good. And like literally like 3-star wrestling, you know, like throughout the entire night. Great crowd in Nassau. Sami Zayn and Drew McIntyre had like literally like a sprinted house show version of their matches, where it was like, because we've seen what these guys can do. We've seen them like in 3-segment Raw matches have excellent work, right? Here it was like whatever the fuck it was, 9 minutes, hot crowd in Nassau, some cool counters, and then he went home, right? And it was like, all right, cool. So from a wrestling standpoint, like really breezy. I wish, like when I was watching, right, my only thing was just one, I would have been so mad watching this live with the commercials, and two, I do wish Cody and Kevin was better, because if the exact same show happened, but Cody and Kevin was like, it doesn't have to be the Berlin match, but like really good at least, and then the angle happened on air. I'm like really positive on this show, and I still am, but more in a very like passive way. I thought the angle was phenomenal. I was really upset that they didn't do that on NBC, because that's the type of money cliffhanger you do in front of the biggest audience you possibly can. Cody and Kevin Owens was like literally just like a fine match. Cody with the Winged Eagle was gorgeous. That belt is beautiful. Fucking like the upgrade between that and the old belt is insane. Liv Morgan having a match that didn't have the fucking shitty Judgment Day finish was an eye opener. It was just nice to see her have a well worked sprint with Io. It's the type of match that if they run that back with more time, it would actually be quite good. It was nice to see Chelsea Green win the U.S. title. It was nice to see Gunther put this pussy arc behind him.
No, thank fuck.
Yeah,
Jesus.
right. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, thank God that's over. I didn't think Damian Priest or Balor really brought their working shoes, frankly, that on Saturday. But Gunther's awesome, and he had a pretty good sprint with those two
you
guys.
knew what the finish was.
Right, exactly. The finish is Gunther just cocking them down, and they said, "All right, cool. I'm not fucking." You know what I mean? Jesse Ventura was exactly what I expected, which is funny, a little botchy, beast, kind of grumpy, old, and funny. He was all
Making
those things.
references the commentators don't get.
Yes, and Michael Cole no selling them. Pat McAfee was awful on Saturday.
Such a buzzkill, bro.
Yeah, he just sucks. What else did I want to say? Yeah, he called him Dominique instead of Dominic, and he called Kevin Owens Kevin Owen. He's probably thinking of Don Owen of Portland, the promoter. But yeah, I thought it was an easy, fun watch. I would recommend the next time that they do this, do 4 matches, 2 to 3 of them, give them like pay-per-view level billing and time. The 4th match, let that just be a quick little fun thing to pop the house. And with the extra room, you use that to do the classic style interviews and promos. Instead of just packing in 5 matches where none of them could really develop, and you're kind of just left with like, all right, that was like a neat little house show. Because this first show was carried on vibes, right? And if you're going to keep doing these quarterly, there's going to have to be an increasing amount of substance in the subsequent shows. You know what I'm saying? So next show, do 2 legitimate big time matches, give them 3 to 4 segments, and then you can just kind of have fun with the rest of the time on the show. And like fun in like a diverse way with the interviews and things that I suggested. Ideally, I could say you could do 2 serious matches and then do 2 bullshit ones to leave space for an angle, frankly. I don't mind that either. You know, so that was kind of my overall opinion on the show. What did you think?
I thought the show overall was okay. Some things really popped me, like some of the same stuff that you just mentioned, like Jesse, the kind of aesthetic of it, the theme, the cold open, Cody with the winged eagle, Liv and Io not having a stinker. But yeah, my issue very, very similar to you again, bro. Like the format and like the actual content, like there was too many matches. There was like, when I say content, I mean like a lack of like the interviews and just like packages and just like things that will really drive home that Saturday night main event feel. And another thing is, when I say it was too like stacked as well, like it weren't just like the 5 matches, it's like the level of matches they were doing. Like they done like 3 world title matches. Saturday night's main event, you build to like the one big main event. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I wanted to see like Cody Rhodes locker room interview and shit like that. But yeah, it was just basically like a really fast-paced mini pay-per-view kind of thing that just didn't really let anything kind of breathe the way you really wanted it to. The finish to Cody and Kevin was like shambolic, bro. Like I thought like it was
the second
terrible.
ref bump,
Bro, terrible. Why did that second? What was the point of the second ref coming out to just take a bump? Like he just then Kevin acting all like confused. Like, bro, that was shambolic. Then obviously it's like, yeah, you can re-grab my interest again with doing the angle after the show. But as you said, that should have been on the show. It should have been on air, cliffhanger on NBC. Has Kevin just killed the world champion? You know, but they didn't do that. So, definitely, it wasn't a bad show by any means, but I think there's a lot of room for improvement. You know,
Absolutely.
and like I said, there was still quite a lot of things about this special show that popped me, like, you know, Jesse, the aesthetic, the ring ropes, the fucking, do you know what I mean? The winged eagle, even though it was the fake one, the replica, you know. So yeah, we'll see how the next one goes, man. But overall, like I said, I thought it was a pretty okay show, pretty decent, enough stuff to pop me, so it didn't leave a sour taste in my mouth, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and as for Collision, sorry, we'll get this one out the way too, and then we'll get the rest of the super chats. I have not enjoyed an AEW TV this much in a while. It was just a really fun show. We started off in style, Monty, because Willow Nightingale and Jamie Hayter just kind of beat the shit out of each other. And this was a very good match. Willow Nightingale has stolen the lion salt from Chris Jericho, and I think, frankly, she should just keep it because fuck.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Good hard-hitting match. I'd like to see these two wrestle many more times in the future. Two of the better women's wrestlers in all of the United States of America. We had some C2 action tonight, Monty, because Okada faced Mortos, and I thought that was actually pretty good. I liked Okada. Yeah, I liked Okada Mortos. A hilarious like styles matchup. Like you know, you look at that and you're like, how the hell would like that work? And it just kind of did. So they had
Mortos.
He's just a beast. You know, what can you say? In the main event, we touched on it briefly, but Kyle Fletcher and Mark Briscoe was fucking fantastic. A superb main event to what was, I thought, the best AEW TV in a while. Even the stuff in between popped me. There was a top flight match on this show, Monty. Top flight versus
one thing I couldn't catch from like this weekend.
Freddie and Leo Rush. And like, I don't know about you guys, but I thought top flight. I was pretty out on them. I stopped caring. Their performances became more and more uninspired, and like pretty much like it felt like two guys that didn't know what they were anymore, directionless, aimless, didn't really know what they were even doing anymore. And I'm not saying this is some big turnaround that's going to spark like this crazy wave of momentum for them. I'm only saying that Leo Rush is so fucking talented that he went in this match and he made three cold guys look awesome. And this match was really good. So I was a big fan of this. One of those kind of underrated sleeper matches that will go under the radar because it's not a C2 match and it happened on the same day of Saturday Night's main event. But I thought this was awesome. And even there was like a bullshit 10-person tag that had like the Outrunners and like MXM. And like I saw that on paper in the spoilers and I was like, I'm not going to watch that. And I just left it on because I was enjoying the show. And it was honestly quite good. And like Commander looked good. DG had a nice hot tag in the match. So I was very happy with Collision. I thought it was a very good episode. And it led to the feeling that I had, Monty, that I feel like Dynamite right now is my least favorite AEW show during this C2 season because that's the show with all like the storylines and the writing. You know what I mean? Like all the writing happens on that show, and then the guys just kind of get to be dudes on these other shows. Will Hobbs, one of my favorite dudes in AEW, was fucking fantastic in the main event of Rampage the night before. It was a tag, I believe it was. I'm already forgetting. I think it was who the fuck was it? Lance Archer, and I want to say Brian Cage. It was Lance Archer and somebody else. I want to say Brian Cage. I think
it was Brian Cage. Yeah, I watched this like 2 hours ago. Like,
yeah,
that's why I didn't like jump in. I think it was Brian Cage.
Right. I don't remember who Hobbs teamed with. All I remember about this match, Monty, was Will Hobbs got in.
Takeshita. Was it Takeshita?
Was he in the match? I thought he showed up.
Yeah, it was Takeshita. Okay, I remember.
Yeah,
I've just visualized the spot where he goes up on the apron and he claws at his eyes and the cheating Davis. Yeah.
Either way, all I remember about this was Hobbs was awesome and he looked like a beast and he did a bunch of town business spine busters and I was like, this is a main event wrestler, Monty. What did you think of AEW's weekend? Do you have any broad opinions?
The big takeaway, of course, is we spent.
It was Mark Davis,
Fletcher and Briscoe. I thought Mark Davis looked good. He pops me though. Mark Davis does pop, man. Hobbs looked great, obviously. Arch Archer makes me laugh in the Callis family because of the way that Callis presents the Callis family, the way he talks about his talent. It's like Archer doesn't really fit at all, but it's like I'm fine with it because like it gets Archer on TV, you know. So, because like Don Callis' whole thing is like he wants like the young studs and the top 1%ers. Like that's literally what he says, and it's like obviously that's that's not quite Archer, is it? You know, but he's awesome, you know. So, like I said, as long as it gets him a role on TV, I'm fine with it, to be honest. What else we got, bro? All the matches that you touched on from the C2, all of them are pretty good. Obviously, like I said, the blowaway one being Briscoe Fletcher. Willow versus Jamie, nice match. I'd love to see it on pay-per-view. What else we got? Mariah, Tony Storm is doing a whole like identity crisis thing. You know, she had her comeback match on Rampage, which was a choice. Oh, what the fuck? But and she did that promo on Collision after the match with Shazza McKenzie about like, oh, I'm happy to be all elite, and she's doing this thing where she's meeting Tony Schiavone and Thunder Rosa for the first time, and you know, she likes to do her bits and stuff. And Mariah May is doing her promo, but she doesn't give a fuck about Tony Storm because she's just the best and stuff. What do you know Mariah May, bro? You know she cuts these promos and she
Yes, I know.
buries the women's division. And it's like the content of what she's saying isn't particularly very good, but like her delivery's gotten so much better, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I think her delivery is like good. It's just that like what she's saying is just like, all right, bro. You know? When she called herself something like the beach from hell or some shit the other day. It was just like, all right, bro. Like,
it's like sure, I guess. You know?
Yeah, like there's a lot of that. And obviously the way that she like some of the promos have been bizarre, the way she's like buried the division, especially in a time where the division isn't being like spoke of highly. You know, it's just not the time to do it, is it? Whereas like if Roxanne did a promo talking about how the NXT division is like full of shitters or something, it's different because there's a lot of hype behind that division to prove her wrong, you know. Whereas AEW it's different, you know. They're just in a different phase. But yeah, Dynamite, man. Remember when Dave got cooked for saying there's too many storylines in AEW?
Yeah.
People took that too like oh, they do too many like good storylines and people it's going over your head, bro. Like you weren't saying it like that. Like I kind of agree in the sense that AEW does too many storylines that achieve nothing.
Yeah,
You know?
and it's like if my options are story that's not very interesting and doesn't achieve much and doesn't further anybody's causes in any way, or good match that like
exactly, yeah.
But not just good match between a focused smaller cast of characters within the show that does progress week to week. I'll take that because, for example, Collision and there's no hard brand split, but there tends to be the same types of people on both Collision and Rampage, right? And so there is an appeal to watching and focusing on those shows and going, okay, I can expect this guy on this show every week doing something, and there's a through line on a week to week basis of what they're doing. Right, you know, I can watch Collision and there's FTR, there's Mark Briscoe, so on and so forth, right? And it's like that's just an easier show to enjoy and invest in for me personally than the show that, again, it's all these heavily written segments that are not very effective or good. I don't give a fuck about like the Adam Cole stuff with MJF and the Undisputed Kingdom and their melodrama. I don't care about it. I don't really care for this John Moxley program where he's having this four-way build. I don't care, you know. So that's a Jericho in the learning tree having these random like skits in the middle of the show. I do not care. I'm good on that. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, give me Mark Briscoe and Kyle Fletcher brainbustering each other for 20 minutes. You know, I will happily take that over the former. Did you have any additional thoughts on the AEW weekend, Monty?
Not unless I'm forgetting anything, you know. I think we're good on AEW.
Yeah, some good stuff. Collision was the best wrestling event / show of the week for me, between the New Japan show, Saturday Night's Main Event, Raw, SmackDown, NXT. I watched pretty much everything this week, and I thought Collision was the best show. I thought it was the best AEW TV in a while, frankly. So a thumbs up for there. And And now we'll close this thing out, Monty, with the remainder of the super chats. Let's close out in style. Let's try to
Right, we're gonna have to speed through them as well because we've got a few. You know,
how many we got? We got 10 minutes.
We got 25.
25. We can do 25 in 10 minutes without going crazy.
All right. Chill guy again. 4.99. Any big plans, stories, feuds for any Hispanic wrestlers in 2025? Hashtag we want more of those. Hashtag goal for Commander. And where's Hologram and Miro updates?
I was gonna bluntly say no because it would have sounded funny. The answer is close to no, but if it pops you at all, Dominic will feud with Finn Balor if that's something that interests you.
Thing is, as well, like when you ask in early December, like what are the big plans, stories, and feuds? It's like
the priority is
like,
going to be
the top guys in WWE probably have an idea of like, what they want to do in Mania season. I doubt very few of them have got it like fully set in stone yet. And as far as AEW goes, fuck it out.
Yeah,
to tell you, mate.
People last night are asking me shit like, "Hey, so like, what are the plans for like Carmelo Hayes in 2025?" And it's like, come on, man. You know what I mean? Like, not even like as a diss, but it's like that. That's just not how this works. You know, they have a loose outline of like the top.
I hope it goes well.
Well, yeah, and again, certain matches are concretely penciled in and punched in on dates, but that's for wrestlers like CM Punk and Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. You know, what I mean? Not down card people.
Yeah, then like I said, in AEW, it's similar, but probably even like especially compared to the way it was. You know, it's not. I've mentioned this before, like the way Tony would brag about knowing who his first 4 world champions are going to be. Yeah. AEW is nowhere close to that anymore, people. You know, so I'm sure they've got ideas. You know, like when they're going to do Tony versus Mariah, when Fletcher and Ospreay are going to have their blow off match, and like, do you know what I mean? When Kenny Omega versus Okada is going to happen, like. Some big days, yeah, they've probably penciled in, but I doubt Tony or Will or fucking QT or whoever you want to name is sitting around thinking like, all right, so this is what Action Andretti and Leo Rush are going to be doing in the tag division in the second quarter of 2025.
Yeah,
you know? Well, that's just not happening. It's just not happening. Eric Lima, $5 off. Not sure what that is, but appreciate it, brother. Will Io be on SmackDown? She hasn't posted a Netflix video yet, and I think the Liv's reign is going until WrestleMania.
I don't know, but I'll tell you this: the people posting Raw videos is not a straight up indicator of who's going to be on that roster. There were many people that were just there filming this stuff at the headquarters that were just asked to do it, and like they have no clue if they're going to actually be on Raw.
They just want people that look beast, you know.
Yeah.
3 stacks, $5. Just how good is Sammy's political standing backstage? Any idea if his support for Palestine has hurt you?
No.
P.S. Where does Gunther versus Sammy rank in your match of the year? Definitely one of the top WWE ones. Probably top 4.
Yeah. It's one of the best WWE pay-per-view matches. Like the Mania one was a great match. Sammy's well respected. Like he's super well respected. He's always going to be in the mix. He's not a guy worrying about if he's going to wrestle at WrestleMania. He's maybe a guy who's looking to see how high he can be on the card for WrestleMania. But they love Sammy. And they know how valuable he is.
Which isn't $5. Funny how TNA went full TNA. Thanks, Jordan Grace, for all you've done. We know you're leaving for WWE, so put Tessa over, lol. Yeah, it's very TNA of them.
Very
just do that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That was a crazy day on Twitter as well, because it's like Tessa Blanchard's coming back to TNA. Then like a few hours later, it's like AJ Styles is backstage. It's like what?
Yep.
Hate and love at the same time, you know. But obviously AJ didn't appear on the show or anything. But still, like at that time, it was just funny how it just flipped. Like, Hush 499 bits aside, I thought Cody had a pretty bad performance. What's the point of selling injuries if you're just going to do your whole Arsenal 2023 full gear vibes? You know what, as well, though, bro? Like, the way that they structured the match around the leg was, like, fucking bizarre. Like, it was a mess.
Yeah, very, very, very uneven. And below Cody's standard when it comes to that. Like, usually those types of matches, like with those guys, like, they have focused ideas that they hone in on. This was kind of scattershot.
Massfan 199. Why has Logan Paul got no WWE send off for retirement? Because he's not retiring, I don't think, bro.
Yeah, he's not.
He just said it, like, you know.
Yeah.
He's Logan Paul, bro. He just says things.
Just a weird
Like
dude.
he's on like the Netflix advertising and shit, bro. Like I don't think he's retired. Down $4.99. Yo, can Hunter let his wrestlers wrestle different style matches on these weekly and pay-per-views? I'm trying to see EO having Joshi style matches in WWE. Or with Liv Morgan.
You're gonna I was gonna say you're gonna have to wait for EO to wrestle good wrestlers for that to
Yeah,
happen.
it's a red. Triple H does let the wrestlers do their thing. It's just the matchups have to make sense, you know. Like if EO wrestled, obviously they're in the same team, but like if EO wrestled fucking Kyrie next week, then they're gonna have, I guess, what you'd want, you know. But you know, she's not gonna have a Joshi style match with fucking Liv Morgan, is she? Ladder match $5. Debbie Keetle has left her home promotion in Ireland recently. Does that mean she's Fed bound or dub bound?
I have no clue.
I'm not familiar, brother.
I have no clue who that
I should be, I guess, considering it's on this part of the world. But you know, can't win them all, bro. I'm spending all my time watching fucking Fez tapes at the minute. Door 199. Miro for a Royal Rumble return. It'd be cool, but I doubt it.
Actually, put a pin on this.
Jumanji Hunter $2. Demon Lee had a great match on main event. Triple K. Come on, man.
That's what he does. He's a beast. I would like to see.
Very good.
I think he wrestled Pete Dunne. They had not great, but they had a really cool SmackDown match last year, right before Pete Dunne changed his name, and I'd like to see that again on TV.
Matt Hennessy $2, €2.49. Do you think TK will let Phoenix out early?
I don't know, man.
Maybe. Bebop Max $5. Appreciate you for coming into my space last night, brother. We all had a great time. I'll be tuned in for the quote Raw review tomorrow.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah.
Yeah, man, you're the Twitter space is always successful, aren't they? You know,
pretty good at them.
Just a chill guy. $4.99. Punk acting like he's not opening with Seth while Roman / Solo main event. Any idea for Bron Breakker Mania plans with the IC belt, or is he dropping it before?
I'm actually not sure what Bron Breakker's Mania match is. Not sure.
Kale, 50 pesos. Keep my name out your mouth. This is like the 5th consecutive time I catch a strain with podcasts. I've had enough. NXT tomorrow. No, man.
NXT, huh?
Listen, bro, you talk all that shit, Kale. You know, you're going to get brought up, you know. Ryan, $6.99.
They're doing Axiom over Femi. I'll watch that. That should be pretty good.
Ooh.
Yeah, that should be pretty good.
Ryan, $6.99. Appreciate it. Alvarez continues to put Soul in as a gymnastics, no emotion Ospreay clone. Do you see her being above that? Feels like she's a star. Are you talking about Brian Alvarez? Because
Brian, he doesn't.
Bro,
he doesn't do it in a negative. He just basically is saying that at where she's at in her development, she can do these really physically impressive things, but she has yet to figure out really how to actually properly string it together, fill in between the lines, color in between the lines, whatever you want to call it, and just be a proper wrestler. And that's not wrong. There's a lot of people who just don't know what they're watching, and they see Soul and they go, "Oh, that's the exact same thing as Ospreay, so Dave should be giving her matches 5 stars." And it doesn't work that way. It's not as simple as you do a Sasuke special or a Tope or a 450, and you are exactly as good as the next guy that does it. You know, it's all about context and how you position it in your matches and so on and so forth. I don't think he doubts that Soul is going to be a star. We all think this, and I think
who knows, bro? With fucking.
I think
Alvarez is criminal, man. Like people get on Dave's ass for like how he rates or doesn't acknowledge like women's wrestling. I promise you, bro, as someone who listens to all the Observer radios, like Brian is so much worse for that shit, man. But
either way, my point is like,
yeah, of course.
I don't know if I would call Soruka a good professional wrestler yet, but I still really like her and think she has a ton of upside, and I think she's gonna make it and be a star. It's more than just I can physically do these things and then practicing a match and then doing them, you know. So, and it comes with time. It'll come with her with reps, and I think Soul is awesome, and I think she'll also be a star in WWE.
Johnny Burney, 199. Predicted Final Four, the men's Royal Rumble. Roman, Punk, Orton, Cena. I don't think Roman will be in it.
I don't know, man. I hate when people ask me these types of questions.
Yeah, it's still, again, like I said earlier, but the Rumble start is at the start of February this year, so it's like it's hard to. We'll just be like throwing names out there like you've done. Do you know what I mean? Like just 4 top stars. Hush 199 to TNA. What's the benefits of Tessa Blanchard?
They're TNA.
They obviously think they can like get away with it. Like they obviously think there's enough people who will look past it that they can still just get like Tessa. Like, if I don't know how to explain it. It's just not what I do. The final boss 199. Big Bro knows we need a fighting champion.
Yes, he does.
The final boss knows. Hush 199. Was Punk Saturday Night's main event planned scrapped last minute?
So he was told.
So.
He was told a few weeks ago that he was going to be needed for the show, and travel plans were set up for him to be at the show. And he asked to do what, and they didn't tell him, and they didn't know. And then like a few weeks out, it was like, so what's going on here? And he was told like about a week in advance, like, no, you're not doing a match. Because here's the thing, he was told to be at the show. He asked, am I wrestling? They said probably not. And so then he assumed, I'm guessing I'm going to do either an angle or a commentary. And then he just got there and was like, what am I doing? And they were like, you want to do some interviews and shit? And he was like, I guess. And to make it productive, he figured out what he was going to do on Raw tonight with Triple H. Like they basically put together their Raw segment at the show.
Each 499, just give your support for real. Massively appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, man.
Go Birds. Up the Chelsea comes with Panenka. Absolutely, bro. We are flying. Dame 199. Why Charlotte got to win the Royal Rumble, man? Hashtag I'm She doesn't have to. It's just Ibu's prediction, bro. Josh Tofi for 199. Joe Tessitore should commentate the next Saturday Night main event. Yeah, his little involvement was very good, I thought.
Yeah, he's legitimate, and I think even though he's like really green at wrestling commentary, I'd rather listen to him than any other person on WWE's commentary booth.
Yeah, I agree with that. Trixie 199. 2 ref bumps. Hashtag Roman got to pay. Hashtag his influence. The final boss 499. Big Bro strips Cody. Have Rock put himself in a title match for the vacant belt versus Jimmy Uso in a 1-minute squash at the Rumble. Rome wins the Rumble. I don't like that, but it's very funny.
Mm-hmm. Was that it?
That's the super chats, bro.
Folks, we had a lot of fun here. I got to get out of here because I have to watch Raw because I have to review Raw.
He's got contractual obligations, fam. He's got to get out of here.
I have to be live right when the show's over, talking about it with Sean Rossap. I expect it to be a good show. I expect the War Raiders to be crowned the new tag team champions. So we'll talk about that. Guys, please exude spoiler etiquette. Please. Spoiler etiquette, please. Raw in real time is happening an hour ahead of what's happening on TV. If major things happen, can you please not just frivolously tweet about it on the timeline? Put spoiler warnings, put a spoiler hashtag, put the warning thing on the pictures, whatever you got to do. Exude spoiler etiquette. And I'll catch you guys later tonight on Fightful. And I will catch you guys tomorrow on the Raw review, air quotes, where me, Chris, and Rob will just kind of fuck around and bullshit and talk about whatever. So for Monty, I'm you with WrestlePurists, and we'll catch you guys later.